Hello, my name is Nadia. I am a student at Montana State University. I am doing my community development project on an organization named Montana Project Information Research Group, also referred to as MTPIRG. This organization teaches young generations how to become civic leaders through experience. They are able to work directly with communities, like promoting voter registration, campaigning, fundraising, and organizing events. Environmental protection and affordable community housing are also two very important topics of focus for MTPIRG. All of these actions are what allow communities within Montana to be heard. These projects are run by 4 staff members, 2 of whom are directors and the other 2 are campus organizers. The rest of the people who work for MTPIRG are volunteers or interns. I have interviewed 2 people, Liz Albers, who is the executive director of MTPIRG, and Carl Anderson, who is the Bozeman campus organizer. In the video, we will cover topics such as assets, power structures, capital resources, and community issues.
My name is Liz Albers. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I'm the executive director of MTPIRG. The Montana Public Interest Research Group, I was really interested in the idea of, working with young folks, getting young folks interested in civic engagement. And there's obviously also, in addition to an education piece of it, also a mentorship piece of it. We have our interns, we have our board members and members, really a lot of relationship building to really get folks interested in and involved in civic engagement. So that piece of it, I think is, we're a unique organization in that aspect.
Yeah. And then who are the primary actors that keep this organization up and running?
But in this case, the MTPIRG board is students. So, they're really kind of what drive our organization and what we work on. They decide the issues that will, work on legislative session, work on throughout the year, and generally the work we do is within 3 areas of conservation, voting rights, and consumer rights, which for most of our history has meant renters' rights. So, but they decide, how we engage and at what level we engage within the campaign for each of those issues. I think another human asset we have is our alum. I think, if you work in the nonprofit sphere in Montana long enough, or you work in the political atmosphere of Montana long enough, you're going to bump into a MTPIRG alum. So, we have a lot of interns and volunteers who have gone on to do tremendous things, and we're incredibly proud of that. And we think, it obviously makes Montana a better place for it. Yeah, so, we really don't have too many physical assets. We rent our offices here in Missoula and in Bozeman. So we're not on MSU. We're like a little bit outside of there. And then here at University of Montana, we are right on campus. And those are the 2, locations we do work out of. We've also had interns in different colleges, based at different colleges, or you should say volunteers based at different colleges. So we've done work before in Billings, but really Bozeman and Missoula are the 2 communities in which we operate.
And what are some of the power structures that you interact with in this community? So like that could be policies or cultural norms.
Yeah, so we obviously interact a lot with the government and the university. So for instance, we have to be privy to any changes in voter registration just because that's so much of our work. And really, keeping a track of all the what's happening at the legislature. So those are really 2 areas the 2 power structures we deal with a lot. Also the university system, right? So we're here at the University of Montana, we're down at MSU. We have to, if we're going to be in those communities, we have to play and engage with certain rules. So those are really the 2 that come to mind.
And then what are some community issues that are related to power structures and politics, such as like political capital?
One thing we have that I think, allows us to engage successfully with those power structures is our institutional knowledge. We're actually celebrating our 40th anniversary this year. So we've been around a long time. We know a lot of these players, and we have this history of doing this work. So like perhaps influence as well. We're trusted. People know us here on campus. So those are obviously things that are in our favor as when we engage with those political structures. Here at the University of Montana, not at MSU, is our fee, which students have the option of not paying. It's a $5 fee that's assessed every semester to them when they get their when they go through the bursar's office, I believe, and they can opt out of paying that. And obviously that's a large part of our funding, to have that student support too, and students know the MTPIRG fee. And then we also have other grants as well that we, as a nonprofit, that we apply for to fund our work.
The majority of our funding does come from public donations. We do phone bank where we call people and talk to them about our work if they're unfamiliar with us, and see if they're willing to either make like one-time donations or become like regular donors. And also every 2 years on the campus, the folks over at the MTPIRG folks over in Missoula have to do a reaffirmation election, where first of all they have to gather enough signatures from U of M students to get it on the ballot, and then students vote on it, but they get an overwhelming amount of support each time that they have to do it. I think the last 2 times that they've had to do it, the approval rating from the voting body of student projects right now, most of it has to do with the legislature and just educating people about bills that we are tracking and getting them to engage their legislators in some way in opposition or support of those bills, whether that be by just signing some of our comment cards that our folks are collecting out in the field, or getting them to call in legislators. And also we are trying to organize numerous virtual lobby days in a non-pandemic situation. We would actually organize days where we would bus up as many students as we could find that are willing and able to go up to the Capitol and be able to participate that way, either just by being present, seeing firsthand how it goes or how it works, or by actually testifying in committee on a specific bill.
Things that have worked well for MTPIRG are recruiting young people to help set goals that motivate the more mature generation. Also, being an organization is helpful for getting goals done because there is more flexibility and it's easier for people to develop close relationships. Something that MTPIRG would like to work on is expansion of their organization across Montana. They all want communities within Montana to have leaders who can advocate for the community's wants or their needs. Organizations such as MTPIRG are vital for people to learn the importance of having leadership skills so they can make a difference in their community. If people learn how to be civic leaders, then they can build trust and influence the way communities view certain political issues.